การแข่งขันกอล์ฟรายการไม้LPGA Classic 2025 ขาดนักกอล์ฟมืออันดับต้นๆของโลกหลายคนเข้าแข่งขันเนื่องจากเลือกที่จะเตรียมความพร้อมเพื่อเข้าแข่งขันรายการเมเจอร์ในสัปดาห์หน้าแต่การแข่งขันก็เป็นไปอย่างน่าสนใจรายการนี้มีนักกอล์ฟสาวไทยเข้าร่วมการแข่งขัน 5 คนติดตามเชียร์ไปด้วยกันนะครับ Maximus Channel ขอขอบคุณทุกท่านที่รับชมรวมทั้งกดไลค์กดติดตามและกดกระดิ่งแจ้งเตือนขอเชิญชมกันได้เลยครับ
The LPGA Tour proudly present the season-long race to the CME Globe. From Belmont, Michigan, it's live first-round coverage of the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Great golf, great people, and a great cause here this week. Blythefield Country Club opening its doors to the world's best in women's golf for the 11th year. We've had so many great champions here along the Rogue River. That 13th is a doozy. You got the lower part of the golf course here, nearly 100 years old. The Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give at Blythefield Country Club just outside Grand Rapids. Grant Boone, Morgan Pressel looking at some of the action from earlier. Paraguay's Sofia Garcia for birdie at 15.
5 birdies on her card already to this point. Rolls that one in, curls it in around the hole.
She would shoot 66. Andrea Lee, her second shot at the par 5 18th.
Now she's just making the turn, looking to take advantage of the easiest hole on the course. And will she ever?
The members know this is a par 4, par 5 for the tournament, and she would make eagle and shoot 67. And this is Cassie Porter, a rookie from Australia at the 15th.
From long range, giving it plenty of pace.
Hole got in the way, and a 68 for Cassie. He's had a nice rookie season. The veteran from Korea, Mi-Hyung Lee at the 14th.
4 birdies and an eagle to this point, already taking advantage of just great scoring conditions out there today.
That's a bogey-free 64 from Mi-Hyung Lee. A couple of wins to her credit on the LPGA Tour, last of which came 8 years ago. Grace Kim played so well last year. The Aussie lost in the playoff to Lilia.
It's just 9's okay, just a little one. Okay, little control.
Again, that wind is hard to read. It's coming out of the east, sort of southeast at times. So how much is it helping on this downhill shot? She's just going to hit a little easy 9.
She didn't look like she committed to that one very well there. Gonna work out distance-wise, but she clearly didn't like it.
Here's another pitch for Boudier, this at 11.
Hey, good shot.
It was sitting down really badly, so it did well to dig that one out.
So up and down for birdie at the 10th, up and down for par. It looks like the 11th. Gabby Ruffles at the par 3 15th.
Predominantly players today have come up short on this hole. That's where we've seen a lot of players putt from. Hole location all the way in the back today. That one got a nice hop forward, though. Well judged.
Yeah, just about hole high right. Some right to left break in this putt.
Number 5 in the world at the moment. Bounced back from the disappointment of 3 yards today. But when you move it back across the bridge, it can stretch out to 2 bills and change.
Yeah, it's a completely different hole from this forward tee. Hole location on the left side today. 7 paces off the left. Nothing too treacherous.
That's a dependable swing, isn't it, for a long time, Jody?
Yeah, she's always had one of my favorite swings. It's very simple, very efficient. Jody's just struggled with some back issues that come and go through her career.
Megan Kang trying to get under par.
with the wind helping and the greens firming up. Hayden going with just a wedge. And I think we saw the ball sitting down nicely in the morning hours.
Near the front, but I don't see this being a problem for her.
Yeah, good smooth swing.
This is a birdie putt at the 13th. You do wonder what you said earlier. What could one cut made mean?
It just kind of is the monkey off your back in a sense, especially for a rookie, you know, who's talked about just the expenses that these young players have. Just even to make a cut and make a check can be something as well.
Boutier second at 12.
It's from 71, bringing it in low.
I needed to carry that about 2 more feet to land on the green. That would have nestled right next to the hole.
A couple of good birdie chances here at the 11th. Hit on you.
Yeah, this was a tricky little one to read. She works on her putting with Las Vegas coach Chris Cho, who's helped a number of LPGA players either with their routine or some little fundamental change, perhaps a different putter that's better suited for them. And Hayden spends a lot of time now in Vegas since she bought a home there at the end of last year.
Yeah, since they've worked together, that's really when she's had a breakout year and a half, so to speak. A fairway metal to get some height, get it to land softly. Just got ahead of it. And a little bit of the bounce.
With this stretch, I would probably do 3 in a row. With the major being in the middle, if I could do it.
I always felt like playing the week after a major was hard. You were just mentally and physically tired. It was hard to kind of get back up. Excellent roll right there.
Nice little run. U.S. Women's Open there in Wisconsin. EY for birdie.
And EY has to be tired talking about that schedule, Morgan. She's played everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rookie move, isn't it, Karen? When you first get your first taste and you're like, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to take an event off, and I want to play everything. I want to get to know the courses, want to get to know where I like or what I don't like. It's not easy.
She won in that sweltering heat and humidity in Mexico 3 weeks ago, then went to Erin Hills. It was about half the temperature as the heat index in Wisconsin the week before when she was winning in Mexico than it was there south of the border. So 8 under par leads the way. And this is Hye-Jin Choi, who contended at Erin Hills. And then a birdie putt for Mooney He at 13.
There's a decent amount of break to the left. We talked about some of the subtleties of this golf course. This green, a little more sloped.
Hayden used strategy off this
7, between
very
7 and 8
elevated
o'clock.
tee. Hit a hybrid to ensure that she hit the fairway. Those fairway bunkers do come in rather quickly. So even with this short shot, really allowing for some potentially hit and release. Kind of like that.
Oh my gosh, showing off why she's the best iron player, one of the best iron players on tour. It's just tremendous right there.
And it's one of the reasons why she's in the top 10 in the race to the CME Globe. Had a chance to win at the Chevron Championship. She added to some of that chaos on the 18th hole by holing out for eagle. Here's the comebacker for Mooney He.
Those are not a favorite of a right-hander there. The outside the hole left from about 4 feet, but solid.
Chisata has a 5-iron out. So this could be smooth as well. I think this is plenty of club. And this one's just hanging out to the right. I think she eased off on that one a bit.
seen her try and move it both ways there.
Grass, not even out of the rough.
And even the second shot, when you have a wedge in your hand, even though it was out of the rough.
Boutier at 13.
EY's putts missed low and left, so this one should move to the right at the hole.
All strikers on the planet in action at a long par 3. Head on you.
With a 5-iron in her hand, Grant. Really nicely struck. Little breeze hurting from the right.
She just has
Wow.
such a neutral swing path. There's very little movement to her ball. She compresses it beautifully. Obviously has wonderful power as well.
Weber for birdie. Really nice. Here is Davy. That finish in Portland allowed her to get all the way to the finals of Q Series, and she finished 10th and kept her card.
And how do you play well around Blythefield? You hit 14 of 14 greens. It's a really good recipe around most courses, but especially here since the green.
Well, you mentioned it. Jenny Bay may have gotten a bit of an unfortunate break. Let's see if she can roll it in anyway.
Yeah, I was interested to see this hole location over here. Sometimes this is the Sunday hole location. It's the one we had last year.
Remember, Lexi had a pitch shot that hung on the edge. It would have won the tournament for Lexi. Instead, into a playoff with Grace Kim and Lilia Vu. Vu won it. Look at Lexi up there with a 68 today. Just a part-time player now. Head on you at 13.
All three players did a nice job of keeping their ball below the hole, but that's easier to do when the hole's back left today. This one's almost hole high left, but still she can control the speed well.
Third.
Putting up and over a ridge here. Good judge of pace. Just been really steady today.
At the 13th, Gabby Lopez.
No.
Gabby hasn't had her best stuff this season, but has a few good tournaments. Played well at the somewhat in contention there at the Women's Open a couple weeks ago. She's such a feisty player, fun to watch, very intense on the golf course. I've played with Gabby many times in competition.
And the opposite off of it. You couldn't have more fun.
Very true. Much break she has to play here. Putting up the hill. Go hard to the right, especially in the first half of the putt.
Didn't give herself a great chance, did she? Where she was in 2. So that'll be for par. Meanwhile, at the 15th, Jody Ewart-Shadoff to get it back to 3 under.
Putting across a slight ridge here. Downhill a little bit, breaking to her right. It's amazing. Jody this season has only made 2 cuts. So this could be a big week right here.
Fourteenth year for her out here. Meanwhile, on the other end of things, you got Carolina Lopez-Chacarra. Played her first ever event at the U.S. Women's Open. Made the cut. And here she is again.
For a block right or a hook to the left.
Gabby Lopez. And back at the 14th, the second for Boutier.
And she's got 200 yards. Ideally play this a little bit to the middle of the green, and this is on a great line for that with a bit of draw. Good looking shot.
Yeah, nice shot there. It's interesting. Celine split with her long.
Well, the irrigation lines and the football feel you get here at the 16th and a couple of other greens here. This is Davey Weber.
It's just so slow.
Free for par at 16.
Let's see just how much break she plays here. I'd at least split the left edge here. Still up the hill, so can be aggressive with it. Like you're giving it back on a hole like 14.
Birdie putt, a long one for Akie, EY.
And that backstroke was almost hip high there to that putt. What a stroke.
Needed to go a little farther, maybe, to go in. What a putt from Akie.
There aren't many putts of that length on this whole golf course. And putting green's not really big enough to practice one that length either.
It's almost end zone to end zone. But a nice day for Aki. Boutier, brilliant couple of shots at 14. This for Eagle.
He just hopped a few times on his way to the hole there, but what an excellent three right there. Look at it, is it just a couple bobbles there, but never knocked it offline.
But you cannot be right all along.
It's been a very commonplace today, Karen, for most people to end up usually a little bit shorter than that, but somewhere left of that flagstick.
A second at 14 for you.
5-iron in hand. 192 to the front. She really hit that nicely. Got good height on it.
And the opposite, a very short bounce. Needed to split the difference there between Haydan and Megan Kings.
And now Lynn Grant at 15.
And this is a 7-iron for Lynn. It just looks like there's nothing much to the right of it or behind it when you're standing on this tee, so that's why players are erring on the side of left of this one.
And on one of the most aggressive.
With her third at the par 5 14.
Oh, she's got to be really frustrated after hitting such a great hybrid into the green and not even getting that chip close. It was a tough lie.
This was just a moment ago. The French Canadian, Modemy LeBlanc.
Trying to punch cut something under that tree. Look at this shot. Wow.
Très bien.
You could sit there all day and not hit a better shot than that right there. That was beauty.
Third at the 14th for you.
Chipping off a tight lie uphill. Oh, landed that beautifully. What touch. Little tiny fit.
Again, it's going to be down and then up and then back down, but they're very subtle undulations that she has to negotiate. Uphill.
Yeah, this year she has switched putters a couple times. This back to her old trusty putter. Grip. Kind of definitely made some adjustments to try and improve her putting this season, and at times has had some success and just a bit of a streaky putter. But oh, when you hit 13 greens through 15 holes and have no circles, frustrating.
Modemy LeBlanc for Eagle at the 18th. Yeah, she turned her putting around a couple of years ago on the Epson Tour. It brought her back to the LPGA Tour. Always had plenty of power off the tee. And that was a nice way to end her first 9 holes. All right, let's see if Megan Khang can get a little something going here. This for birdie.
Man, that was that chip what we saw from Chisato in the group before. Was able to get it up that ridge. Just came out a little fluffy there from Megan. Tough to get it all the way to the hole. It's going to be slow as well.
Okay.
All's well that ends well right there, Grant. Excellent stroke. Good putting can make up for a lot. I heard Kay mention that she was frustrated by that
Collar here.
really tricky, choked way up on it, just trying to chop down. It's very tough to guess how it's going to come out, but I'd say she did pretty well right there.
And back at the 15th after another tap-in birdie. Hate on you.
She, if anything, fades the ball a little bit, so I was going to say, take dead aim. This would fit her eye.
Not tap.
For easy.
All right, Megan, a little pep in her step after the long birdie putt dropped at 14. These are two supreme ball hitters, aren't they? These two, Khang and Yu. Takeda's not bad either, by the way. Rio Takeda, the rookie. Check out this awkward shot at 16 for Pauline Busson-Bouchard.
So quick from over there. Went with the blade. What a choice. Just tried to get something started. It's a tough shot, one that you don't practice very often.
Carlota Segunda is looking at this putt for par at 13. Missed the green.
Right here.
And keeps a very Megan Khang at the 15th.
That's the funny thing about golf. Sometimes the hole can look like it's the size of a trash can, and sometimes it just looks like a thimble.
I'm not sure that hers will get high enough to be affected by that wind. This is well played.
That leaves it below the hole. Big difference there from her putt upcoming versus Lynn's.
Par 5 14th. Stacy Lewis playing with Gabby Lopez. I wonder if Somi Lee has ever heard the Hogs called so much. Couple of Razorbacks there with Somi.
Not sure if they're calling the Hogs out there today. Save that for a few months.
Everywhere you go. You can always hear it. All right, hate on you. Brilliant tee shot at 15. This for birdie.
Roll.
Looked like, if anything, there she was set up just slightly open with her shoulders. Sometimes it could be the slightest thing, the slightest difference in your posture, your setup, that can really make a difference.
And here is Somi Lee. You talk about bad timing. She was in the top 75, which would have gotten her into the U.S. Women's Open for the entire month of May until the last week of the cutoff. She dropped to 76th, and then the next week went back to 73rd. So she missed the U.S. Women's Open in that top 75 exemption. Very solid player. Second, everything in college and as a junior is just kind of set up for you, and then you get on the LPGA Tour and you know the golf itself is going to be hard enough, but it's all the peripheral things that she said have been a challenge, and you all go through it.
I mean, I didn't have
Not the
quite the
college
same
one.
experience as in college, but I did, you know, have my grandparents and travel with my grandparents, and they were very helpful for me in my travels early on tour.
Their folks are out there, and Kate Cockrell is now watching Akie at the 14.
From the right rough, actually has a decent lie and a shot to the hole. Going at it with a 5-iron, which sounded solidly struck in a good line. Just a matter of how it hits and releases.
Very nicely there. Similar spot to where we saw Celine Boutier make eagle from right there.
Down on the front line, had a couple of bogeys, a couple of birdies, but has really settled into this round of golf nicely.
It's just about getting yourself close enough today, Karen. Certainly you see the low numbers, but just enough. Don't have to go crazy. You know you're playing in the afternoon, even though the conditions are beautiful. Tomorrow we'll have a fresh golf course to play in the morning, but stay within striking distance today.
Yeah, there's something about those early mornings, and a little bit of dew on the ground, and it just feels easier to score on as well.
There was originally some rain in the forecast tomorrow, but looks a little bit better right now, Grant. Not a lot of excess movement, especially with her lower body. It's not a very tall player, but really makes the most of her golf swing. So repetitive. That's what you want.
Up to the 16th and the second for Megan Kang.
That's a good look right here. Obviously even further back from where Megan is standing with the ball. You can barely see the top of the flagstick. Makes it that much harder to judge your distance control. Just have to really dial in a landing spot.
She'll like it when she sees it. All right, Akie EY. Couple of great shots and a chance for a 3 at the 14th.
Really good looking chance. She has played so nicely today. Clean card with 5 birdies, and this would jump her up to 7 under. Oh, and that little bit of uphill initially, Morgan just kind of killed the putt, killed the momentum.
It's always a frustrating thing for me, leaving an eagle putt short. Brock and I, my longtime caddy, we kind of had a joke that I couldn't leave an eagle putt short, to the point where I started hitting them too hard, and we said, okay, we've got to stop that. A lot in this putt right here. Played some beautiful golf today, only missed 1 green.
That week that she found out that she had fallen out of the top 75 by 1 to miss a spot in the U.S. Women's Open, she went to Mexico knowing she had to win to get into Erin Hills, and gave herself a chance. Wound up finishing 4th, and it's a player to watch for sure. And that is a very nice 2. They almost always are.
2 runs of very good play, and I think from watching her and getting to know her a little bit, she's very confident, and she has an all-around great game. She has a lot of power, and the only thing that I've seen so far in her game that gets her into trouble is some really errant tee shots. But this golf course is forgiving enough. I think she's pretty confident on the tee. That's a 7-iron on the way.
What's impressed you the most, Kay, about watching her?
Well, I think she has a variety of golf shots. Strength and length off the tee, but able to manipulate and manufacture shots.
Hayden Yu's going to have to manufacture a shot here. How about this 3rd at 16?
Just barely get something going there. That's a great angle of how fast that is from beyond the flag. Just dump it on the fringe and let gravity do the rest.
Hei Ji Kang at 15.
That's also 7-iron. Pretty aggressive line. Nice to see her back playing and getting into these tournaments.
Megan Kang from Brockton, Mass. Davy Weber, first group out in the afternoon. She'll be disappointed, but that's a good start. 68 for Davy. We mentioned that run last year she made in Portland. Finished 8th and having a nice start to her week. And this is Akie at the 15th.
Just off the putting surface, right to left break. Well, it ended up being fairly straight, but good speed.
First player in the history of the LPGA Tour to shoot 2 rounds of 62 or lower in the same week. That was in Thailand. To Kay's point earlier about how explosive Akie can.
Sitting a little bit down. The mistake was going through the fairway, though. And that's not very good. Tried to dig it.
Yes, took a big backswing, maybe a slight decel there. Not committing to the shot, Karen.
Now the 4th.
This is not too bad from the bunker. Has lots of green to use.
Great back 9 going. Doesn't want to give up 2. This is Amy Yang. She'll be defending next week at the KPMG Women's PGA Champion. This is Kaylee McGinty, her 3rd at the par 5 18th.
Not the best angle from here. Hit it into the upslope. Try and get some cut spin, and does that beautifully.
She had a great second round last week. Shot 65 there at Seaview. And that helped her make her first cut. All right, here is Carlota Segunda coming off a bogey at 13. Chance to get that back and then some. I beg your pardon. This is, yeah, that can be the birdie putt. Remember, her second was really good, but then rolled back off the front. Yeah.
It almost ended up there, but
Yeah.
a little unsettled. So backing off, it's a relatively straight putt, as we've said. Makes it harder to read with the subtleties here. After that beautiful second shot, it's just frustrating.
Celine Boutier, it's been a great back 9. She's trying to just salvage something here at the 17th.
She has been putting well, but she has to deal with the slowness of this putt as well that we saw Lynn Grant try and negotiate.
She have learned anything there, Karen, from Lynn's read?
Only the speed, I would think, Morgan.
I didn't quite get it close enough to the hole to let her know what it's doing, but didn't need it.
It's a reasonable bogey after being out of position the whole way.
I mean, the mistake. Set up way open here because of the ball below her feet. Doesn't like the strike. If that's your miss, doing okay. High standards there.
Kaylee McGinty for a closing birdie and a 66. And she hadn't broken 70 until the second round last week at the ShopRite. 65, which is 6 under on that course. 5 under again today.
I have to feel like that was just real.
You're kind of thrown off from the start on 16, are you? Everything's just a little bit awkward. And you go up the hill with a second and a slow green up the hill.
Yeah, I think 16 more than anyone.
Somi then Akie Iwai.
Lucky to have drawn a decent lie just into the rough. Going with the 8-iron, the club she can hit solidly. And shouldn't have to worry about it going over. That rough closed the face down a bit.
Trying to work its way back. She'll have a chance, I think, to take relief there, that 2-and-2 rule. From that sprinkler head. 17, Megan Kang.
Yeah, slow putt, as we've seen. Hard to get it to the hole.
Birdie.
It's another putt we've seen a few players leave short as this day has gone on. It's a little downhill. You're putting almost towards an infinity green, looking over at the 14th fairway. This would be a nice way to end the day. This hole playing at 4.5 scoring average, so you really feel like you have to make a birdie here to keep up with the field.
So how bunched up is it? She goes from 80th to 53rd with that birdie. And here is Subin Ju. Goes by Alicia here in the States. Can she make that big jump?
And she's still got a couple of birdie opportunities like that 18th upcoming as well.
And now Carolina Lopez Chikara, brother Eugenio, is a winner on the DP World Tour. It's a great family, elite golf. They each have a couple of 62s to their credit in amateur collegiate competition.
You can imagine they have some fun, friendly sibling rivalry going on there.
And like Mooney, he from 80th-ish inside that cut line.
Through about 4 feet of the first cut. Depends how the roll is on this first part as to whether it'll hold its line. Well, that did look pretty good.
Third at the 18th.
And it's a long chip. She does have a lot of green to use, as Morgan was saying. Most of it is downhill from this part of the green. Well, from where she's going to land it anyway.
Just a little bit quick with that motion there, but it's going to work out. Look at this.
And here she is at the 18th.
Yeah, she chose not to hit driver, just to give herself an opportunity to hit the fairway rather than running through or going into the bunker. But she still could get to the green, as you can see, and even gone over.
Yeah, little trundle down a little bit away from the putting surface there. Got a long pitch. I believe it was at Erin Hills, hitting some shots with her right foot pulled back a little bit to try and neutralize her swing path. Definitely set up a little bit more square than what she has the majority of her career. It's just to play a little bit more of a controlled fade and not lose the shot too far to the right.
Well, Danielle Kang, player who reached number 2 in the Rolex rankings, has really fallen out of form. Had a 65 last week.
Out in the middle of this fairway. I don't know how her drive ended up where it did. As it is, side hill, downhill lie. Wedge in hand. Oh, she might have hit too much of that.
It's going to settle up against the thicker cut of rough. That's going to be tricky. She's chipping up the hill and then back down the hill. Going to be tough to judge that one. Looks like from that angle, it might be far enough away that she can get to the back of the ball, which would be fortunate.
Celine Boutier for a closing birdie.
And this one's uphill.
So a really good save for bogey at 17. An up and down for birdie.
The hill.
had a serious pop to it, and it still barely got to the hole. This is the third for Akie Iwaike at 17.
Awkward little shot with a tuft of grass behind. May try to belly this.
It's an interesting shot she tried. I'm not quite sure what that was.
Yeah, I almost thought her feet were on a sprinkler head and that she might have taken relief, but
One of the stars from Erin Hills, the Spaniard Julia Lopez Ramirez. This for eagle at 14.
Yeah, even though it wasn't the final round that she wanted, still riding with a lot of confidence. Certainly can take a lot from that weekend, being in contention, being in such a big moment.
Got a third shot for head on you at the 18th.
Very straightforward pitch here. This would be one you might be looking to chip in. Landed right about on the very edge of the green. Just don't carry it to the green on these this kind of very spongy grass, sticky grass. That's what's going to happen.
Two powerful strikes to that point, but that pitch will leave her a longer birdie putt than she would have anticipated. And now the par attempt for Akie Iwai.
it's been a clean card so far today. 6 birdies, no bogeys. This putt of 9 or 10 feet now to remain bogey free. These greens are quite nice. Even late in the day, they still maintain their integrity. I see this wanting to wander right as it loses speed. Slightly uphill. Well, I think she liked the way she stroked that.
Yeah, it did, Kay. It just fell out of the hole on the right side. It looked like she stayed in the putt nicely. To your point of thinking she hit a good one there.
She was very close to that third shot, having her feet on the sprinkler head, but
They're always cheering for her.
here's Julia. And her countrywoman, Carlota Segunda, third at the 17th.
Really awkward stance right here. Left foot out of the bunker. And as I mentioned earlier, we've seen a lot of players from that bunker. It's just hard to hit that chunk and run, being so slow up the hill.
All right, a birdie putt for Somi.
Just breaking to her right here. Got to really pick a spot where you want the ball to enter the hole, the entry point. Kind of, it's the last thing I like to look at right before I pull the trigger, is that entry point. Almost pick a blade of grass.
It's a hole you feel like is commissioner of the LPGA Tour. And of course, Craig will be in the booth next week, Thursday, I believe, when Terry Gannon joins you all on the broadcast team. And Craig, of course, who's been the COO of the PGA of America, makes his home there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area now. And he'll get started officially July 15th. But as I was talking to a few folks with the LPGA, they said, yeah, he's kind of already started. He's excited. Lots of ideas. He'll have a lot of support, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody's certainly excited for him to start officially and to see some of those ideas. I love what I've certainly heard so far.
Carlota Segunda. This is her putt for par at 17. Looking down that leaderboard, you got players like Sofia Garcia, Karis Davidson, Rachin Liu, Kaylee McGinty trying to win for the first time. Mi-Young Lee hasn't won since 2017, and even longer for Carlota Ciganda. Wins are so hard that it seems like it's getting harder. And another dropped shot for Ciganda. Well, that 8 under 64 is held up. We'll see many of these tomorrow. Grace Kim, who played so well here last year. We'll get to see Minjee Lee in our coverage. And these who are out here this afternoon get